And the convention of the ruling party, the All Progressives Congress, is over. Well, the National Working Committee of the party, comprising about 7 to 8 members, is now in place after the handover ceremony on the 30th of March. While delivering his speech at the ceremony, the chairman of the party, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, says that the main priority for them now is winning the 2023 elections. Well, he says that Buhari does not entertain failure, and so all must work auspiciously to make their tenure a success.
Joining us now to fill us in on what the agenda of the party is and what Nigerians should expect going forward are Barrister Felix Morka, who is the National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, as well as the party's a member of the party, Sunny Moniedafe. Thank you so much, Mr. Moniedafe. Oh, I'm told Mr. Morka is joining us in Lagos, from Lagos. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Let me begin with you in the studio here, Mr. Moniedafe. Congratulations first on your convention. Some will say the battle is over, but the war is not won. There are expectations for this Abdullahi-led NWC, and one would have expected that your party would have hit the ground running. For instance, where is the timetable for your primaries? What's the hold-up?
Good evening, Nigerians. Thanks for having me. Now, the story of the APC is a story of everybody thinking that we will fall or we will fail. We keep overcoming every obstacle, including the convention that we had. Now, don't jump the gun on our behalf. The working committee has taken over. By the way, it's not 78 working committee members. It's about half of that because the national and then the assistants all over the place. So that makes 78. Now they've taken over and they are trying to do so many things. I'm not privy to that, but I know that they are going to do the right things, and we should be patient. Timetable will come. We have up till June, 3rd of June, to do everything with regards to the primaries. And starting from 3rd of April, which is yesterday, we have 2 months. So there's no rush. Okay. We are getting there. We'll get there.
Mr. Moniedafe says there's no need to rush. Well, let's go to Lagos now, speak to Mr. Morka. Well, do you agree with Mr. Moniedafe that you have enough time? And let's marry that with the fact that, you know, zoning, I know it's not a part of your constitution at the APC, but one wonders really, looking at all of the campaigns we've started seeing all across the country, are you considering a consensus candidate, really, especially for the presidential ticket? Looking at how the convention went, of course, with the president's influence, coming up with that important consensus that a lot of people would say avoided that blowout that we anticipated looking at the APC convention.
Well, yes, thank you for having me. Yes, I agree with my colleague in the remarks he made about the schedule for this new committee to begin to lay out the plan for the party going forward. As you know, the NWC was just inaugurated a few days ago, and we're still doing housekeeping, but be rest assured that the NWC is determined to lay out an agenda that will cover not just the period for the primaries, which is upcoming, but also, you know, through the period of, you know, the general elections for 2023. But like you said, you know, we just been barely 72 hours, really, in the saddle. So I think that it's a bit hasty to expect a full-fledged plan of action to already be, rolling in the streets. But be rest assured that all systems in the party are working hard to put together what, you know, you might call the agenda for this very important period that we are just about to enter.
Morka, let me stay with you because combining party offices with elected position is something that has been frowned out. It's something that troubled the Buni-led caretaker committee of your party following that Supreme Court judgment in the case of Akeredolu's election in Ondo State. Many people are asking, you know, when will Abdullahi Adamu and Senator Kyari resigned from their positions as senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, now that they are now members of your National Working Committee?
Well, that's a fair question. You know, I know that the national chairman and Senator Kerry have excellent counsel and will comply fully with the Constitution of the Federal Republic and other laws, including the Electoral Act and the party constitution for that matter. I have no doubt that, you know, they will make decisions on the matter as, you know, as required, you know, under the law. But I'm not able to, you know, say anything further than that, other than say that, you know, the chairman and the deputy chairman and North will take, you know, proper counsel and do what is required.
Well, let me come to you, Mr. Moniedafe, in the studio with us right now. The fact that looking at the convention and how it went, well, prior to that convention, there were some unresolved issues the APC had in some states going into that convention. Has your party been able to resolve some of those crises, especially in some states, so that way we avoid a situation of what happened, you know, in 2019, where your party had to lose some states because of some internal wranglings?
Now, I should not be the one to answer that question. If I had won my election to be the national chairman, if it was zoned to the North Central and I went for the deputy national chairman, I would have set the ball rolling because we need to reconcile. Now, I've sent a message across to all the stakeholders that we need to have a 3R program: reconciliation, reconciliation, reconciliation. I want to believe that the working committee is going to do the right thing at the right time. Mr. Morka just spoke from Lagos, and I'm sure they know what to do. I know that the Deputy National Chairman, Senator Abubakar Kyari, was in Kano today. What he went for, I don't know. But let's just be patient. We need to reconcile. People have been hurt. People are angry. But I know that we have been able to overcome challenges in the past. We will overcome this one. Let me tell you one thing. I am the one who should be the most aggrieved. 21 months of campaigning across Nigeria. But I let go because one thing I talk about Nigerians is that we like praying a lot, but after praying, we tell God to step aside. If God says something is yours, nobody can stop it. Now, I didn't get it. I'm qualified. My story is there, but I have moved on. Let us be patient. We want to save Nigeria. I said it in Yola when I addressed a press conference, even here. The PDP or NNPP or whatever, it's not a solution. Stay with the APC. We are honest. We make mistakes. We admit it, and we move on. Stay with us and let's move on. But be patient. We will reconcile everybody. Be assured of that.
Nigerians will be the judge of that if APC is the option. You say you're not aggrieved, but there are some monies that you would have wanted the party to return to you for campaigning all the while, yet a consensus was chosen. But Mr. Morka, let's talk about zoning. Even though it's not written in your constitution, we do understand it's a gentleman agreement and it has played out in a number of situations. But at the moment, you have aspirants for the presidential ticket coming from the same zone as your national chairman. An example, the governor of Kogi State, who just declared over the weekend, he was on Newsnight, on our news, and told us, you don't have a zoning formula, you don't plan to zone any of your you don't plan to zone your presidential ticket in 2023. Is that right? And where is fairness and justice and equity if your national chairman is from the North Central and you are opening up for everyone, including someone from the North Central?
Well, you know, that's rather premature to make any such determination as to what the party will do. It's a process. It's not an activity. The party will, in its wisdom and in full consultation with all of the sections of the party, determine what's best. You saw what happened at the National Convention. A lot of people were very afraid of what was to come. But, you know, we came out of it, you know, even stronger, more united, and more determined to, you know, march on. So the same thing is going to happen. I don't think any of those discussions have been had, or at least had fully, and certainly no decisions have been made as to how the party will approach, you know, the method for the selection of those who will, you know, fly the flag of the party. But when the time comes, and I think that's what this new committee, you know, has to do, is to lead the party to, you know, again, using every democratic means and process to reach, you know, a decision that I think will be fair to everyone involved. Even at the convention, yes, you know, following Mr. President's very, you know, wise counsel, we, took the consensus, approach. But even at that, those who insisted that they must go to the ballot were afforded every opportunity to actually, be voted for. And people, came out victorious in those elections. So there's nothing set in stone, but, be rest assured that, our constitution will guide the process for how we choose those who will fly a flag come, next year.
Well, Mr. Morka, you have said what you had to, and Mr. Moniedafe, I spoke to you personally during the APC convention there, and I knew you were not happy with how the consensus, especially for your position, was reached, and you were not alone. We saw some of your members hit the stage and really oppose to some of the positions that, consensus was reached. But does this actually point to the way that the presidential tickets would actually be given, where probably if Mr. President has, a preferred candidate, do you think that, his candidates will be the one to prevail at the end of the day?
Now, you see, we have something in politics. Everybody has his say, majority will have their way. I have my views about the convention. I told you, I was not happy. I'm still not happy, but I've let go and I moved on. All I'm concerned about is a better Nigeria. Now, for what you just asked, Mr. Morka, asking me, let's not be in a rush. We're going to sit and discuss everything. If they reach out to us, I'll give my suggestions. I am totally against consensus, for example. In 2014, we had the convention in Lagos State, in Tasnim Balogun Stadium in Lagos. General Buhari from Northwest, Kwankwaso Northwest, Rochester Okorocha Southeast, late Isaiah, North Central, and then Atiku Abubakar from Northeast. It happened. So we will talk about it and we'll arrive at a workable solution. Let's just be patient. The important is that the APC doesn't take Nigerians for granted. We will not lie to Nigerians. We'll tell them what it is, and then we'll go in and we'll discuss. After discussion, majority will have their say. Minority will have their say, majority will have their way. Be assured of that. Personally, I'm against consensus because, like when I came out with my story about being from Delta but born in Jamaica, I was like a lone ranger, but I pushed it for 21 months. Today, people have seen what I was talking about. So let's not be in a rush. We will get there. Important is that we mean well and the APC will deliver when it's time. For the time being, give the working committee time to sort itself out. They will do it.
Time is of the essence. 2 months could fly by just like that. But let me stay with you, Mr. Moniedafe. When you say, give the National Working Committee time, they know what to do. Mm-hmm. It's a different thing to know what to do and another to be doing it. Are you satisfied with what the NWC has done so far? Some have also raised the question about the age of your national chairman, and he has a lot of work to do. Reconciliation. Does he have the capacity, given his age, to be able to do all of this work within the time frame he has? Are you satisfied with what he has done so far?
72 hours is too short a time to decide or take any action. As per his age, now in administration, you have to do everything yourself. You delegate. I expect him to delegate some of these things and just sit back, get reports, and work with the committee. It can be done. And I hope that they will get in people that have what it takes. Like, for example, my ideas. I want to appeal to them to once in a while call me, let's chip in. And I'm sure they will do that. But for the time being, don't be in a rush. 72 hours. You said there's no time. The Electoral Act gives us 2 months. From yesterday, 3rd of April, to 3rd of June. We will get there. Don't be in a rush.
Well,
we will get there.
Like I just was said,
I'm available to be called anytime. We will get there.
2 months will fly by before you even
We
know
are within the INEC, the Electoral Act.
Absolutely,
time.
you are.
We are within.
You know what, Mr. Moniedafe, we'll come back to you, but let's go straight to Lagos now and speak to Mr. Morka. Let's look at the fact that you are the new National Publicity Secretary of the party. And looking at the statement credited to your national chairman, he says, the priority right now is winning the 2023 elections. As Publicity Secretary, especially looking at the, political terrain, looking at your opposition and all those who are already clamoring and even, getting their acts together, are you worried with the pace that your party is going? And in your position as the National Publicity Secretary, what do you intend to do differently to ensure that you see a good outcome for the APC, not just at the national level, but also at the subnational?
No, I'm not worried at all. I think we are, off to a good start, coming off the convention. And, we intend to do exactly what I said earlier, which is to lay out an agenda for how we're going to, engage all of the processes that we're required to go through to select our candidates at primaries, and then, go into the full electoral campaign mode. We are prepared to do that. And as my colleague has said, it's still too very early to expect the fullness of that plan to already be rolled out. But, that's in progress. Now, what am I going to do differently, or what are we going to do differently, going forward? Look, there's no question that things are, really, hard at this point, in so many ways. I mean, you hear people give all of these comments, the events of last week. Of course, it's concerning. It's heartbreaking, when some of these terrible things happen. But, it's not about the bad news. It's about, the reaction and the response and the will of the government to tackle this problem, which it's demonstrated very competently, to really push back and get, control of our security situation. People lost their lives, compatriots needlessly in the hands of people who really do not love our people. And it's I can't, even bemoan that enough. But I think that, going forward, you're going to see, a new kind of, attitude to the dealing of this, of this matter coming out of the, national security system.
Well, we'd have to say thank you so much, National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Barrister Felix Morka, as well as Mr. Sunny Moniedafe, both of you chieftains of the APC. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Well, you tried to be the deputy national chairman of the party, so I say thank you so much, Mr. Moniedafe.